Welcome to the Forever Better Academy podcast, where you will be given the principles, tools, and techniques to reach the next stage on your journey of self-mastery. Who could you become? I'm your host, Wade Vincent. The sign of true growth is the ability to change one's mind. Welcome today to the Forever Better Academy podcast. My name is Wade Vincent, and I am here to share with you the tools, techniques, and principles that have shaped and changed my life for the better. So it's been a long journey from becoming a chef turned truck driver turned salesman turned happy human being with purpose, and this is why I'm here to share these things with you guys. And today, relevant to all those experiences that I just briefly touched on, change is essential. It's the biggest thing that will shape and determine who you are and who you will become and where your life can take you. So today I am going to jump in to the concept of the importance around change being essential in your life. Now, humans innately, we are wired to fear change because change is the unknown. Right now, if we see change as unknown, and unknowns can present danger. And for countless years, thousands of years, tens of thousands of years in human evolution, there's a reason that we are known as creatures of habit, right? If we understand that something can create potential threat or danger to us because it's different to what we know that is safe and what we're familiar with and what we're used to, we have over time learn to associate change with danger, right? Now, the ironic thing really is that everything great that happens in your life and the progress that you make and challenging yourself and growing and becoming the best version of yourself you can be only happens through change, right? So we actually need to lean towards that change rather than fear it, right? Change is not the enemy. Change is essential. Okay, so that's what we're going to jump into. A bit of a longer introduction than usual, but here we are. So thank you for being here, and let's get stuck in. So the biggest thing around all of that I just mentioned, what really makes us shy away from that change, I would pinpoint it down to fear, right? Fear of unknown consequences, fear of unknown outcomes, fear of getting hurt, fear of being embarrassed or ashamed, or fear of failure, right? All of these different things that often we concern ourselves with unnecessarily is the what could go wrong, right? What might happen if we do this? And it's important to consider consequence and possible outcomes. Most certainly, you shouldn't just jump off the side of a cliff with your eyes closed and hope for the best. But in saying that, we cannot let the potential problems that may arise from change inhibit us from taking change or taking action on change in our lives. Right now, it's attributed sometimes to Michael Jordan and sometimes to Wayne Gretzky. You miss 100% of the shots that you don't take, right? Like it's really straightforward and powerful, right? If you think about, you can only get the shots that you attempt, right? Now, you should never have fear around changing your mind or your truth changing. The biggest impact that has helped reset or reframe my mindset, if you will, was being genuinely open-minded. Right now, we hold on to our beliefs and our convictions because the stories we tell ourselves create us. That's our identity. You know, I'm a person that believes this, and I'm a person that does that, and that therefore makes me who I am. Right? And if I go against those things that I believe or that have shaped me and make me who I am, then who am I now? Right? And that's the key. Because if you want to change and grow as a person, you have to change and grow as a person. And you can only do that by considering different vantage points or views or ideas or concepts or ways of thinking or considering alternative truths. Now, if you asked me 10 years ago the kind of person that I thought I would be, or where I would be, or what I would believe in, I would not have imagined who I am now, and that would be my identity, my story, right? So for anyone who hasn't heard earlier episodes of the podcast, my whole world was focused on rap music, hip hop, and I wanted to take music and lessons that I'd learned and share those stories for the benefit of others to make an impact in the world. And I was convinced that was my path, that was the vehicle, right? That's all I wanted to do. It's who I was. I knew that was me, and I had this moment, this sort of I wouldn't maybe call it an existential crisis of when that path closed to me and the next one opened. There was that period when I had to choose the new path and ultimately who I wanted to become. And it's daunting, because if I had have stuck to and held on to my old identity and my beliefs and who I thought I was or what I thought about myself, I would still be stuck in the past. I wouldn't have been able to go through the change required to develop into who I am today. Right now, you think about, I always thought it was a nice analogy when people talk to the concept of a seed, right? Like when a seed is planted and it's dark and it's under the ground and it's dirty and it has no light and no idea what's to come, but it has to break through its own shell, its own body, the outer casing, into the unknown to become the tree that it's meant to become. And it has no idea what could happen, but it doesn't not sprout because it might get eaten by an animal or a bug, or it might not have enough nutrients. All it knows is that change is essential for it to become the most fullest and complete version of itself that it can be. And we are no different to that, right? So we should all, and I think this is a key point, because a thing that, back to that earlier point where I say about the truths or the things we tell ourselves that form and shape our identity. A powerful saying that I've always liked is, convictions are the enemy of truth. Right? Now, we hold on for dear life even when we've been proven wrong and we know better, because we don't want to lose face. You know, we don't want to be seen as not knowing or we got it wrong. And it's okay. We have to get it wrong, because if we don't get it wrong, we can't know contrast to what right looks like. And if we don't know what right looks like, how do we do things correctly? How do we get it right? right? It's one thing, it's easy. We all know, right? Innately, if you're a parent, you can give your children every lesson under the sun, and you can tell them and even articulate it in the most effective and clear and concise way for them to understand whatever lesson you're trying to teach them, but they always get it better when they make the mistake and then they've experienced what goes wrong, and they understand then the lesson is truly learnt. We all have that right now. We should all, and this is easier said than done, we should all be seeking truth, regardless of our opinions, regardless of our beliefs. Only truth is absolute. And if we can put ourselves in that space where we are genuinely open to that truth and nothing else matters, our opinions, our ineffective beliefs, the things we tell ourselves that no longer serve us well, always improve if we keep truth as the absolute. All right, and it's hard to be open-minded. Again, right? You're going against your instinct. You're going against your belief system, who you are, the ideas and concepts that make you who you are. But you, as I say, you cannot possibly grow into yourself until you consider alternatives. Now, the thing is a bit of a challenge in this situation, right? Is ultimately the circle that you're in, your environment, the people that you surround yourself with, right? Oftentimes you'll hear, especially if you're, immersed yourself like I did into the, personal development space, self-improvement space, you'll often hear the concept of, you are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with in your life, right? Like, you can have the best of intentions and be the kindest person, but to use an extreme example, if you're hanging out with 5 murderers, that sometimes bad habits rub off, right? You're not going to put yourself in a good position to flourish and grow and go through that change, right? Now, and often you get to the point where, especially if you're in a circle or a group of people where you're growing and changing at different paces or a different speed, or you're just at different places in your life, you'll find sometimes it can be lonely because you start to distance yourself or you need to distance or separate yourself from the people that might not have that same mind frame, that mindset, the approach that you do, because it's in your best interest to surround yourself with people that enhance that approach with you, right? The openness to change. If you're around the wrong people, they can make it very difficult for you to change, right? Have you ever, another thing that often gets referenced in this space is really the crab in a bucket concept. Like, if you've ever seen, like if you've ever gone fishing or crabbing and you catch a heap of crabs and you've got them in a bucket and they're all sort of clamoring around and trying to escape, you'll find if one actually gets close to escaping, the other crabs will pull that crab back into the bucket. And it's this odd thing, like in Australia we call it tall poppy syndrome. When someone does something well or is outspoken or sort of rises above the crowd a little, people try to cut them down. Now I don't know why. It seems to be very much a cultural thing in Australia, but it's I think it helps to demonstrate my point, right? You have to, if you're trying to change who you are, sometimes you have to change the people that you're around and associate yourself with, right? So when you go through that's a big factor in the process. And ultimately, the importance of, as I say at the beginning, being open to open-minded to that change is ultimately, you don't know what you don't know. Right now, it's very hard to grow and change and experience and push yourself outside of your comfort zone if you don't have understanding of what else could be out there. Right? This is why the importance of reading every day, the importance of exposing yourself to different ideas, different viewpoints and approaches. This is why travel is good, right? And being around different cultures and different people, because it gives you a greater set of data points and experience, and then the sum of your ideas and concepts is greater than the parts. The more you have to work with, the more, as I say, those data points you can experience and determine and evaluate what they mean. It allows you to have a better viewpoint or a vantage point because you have more to reference from, right? So you've got to go out and create different experiences for yourself, be it, as I say, changing your circle. And it doesn't always have to be changing your circle, but expand it, right? Go and meet different people. Take yourself out of your comfort zone. Change doesn't occur from staying still, right? If you've ever heard, it's a simple saying, but I like it. It demonstrates it well. If things don't change, things don't change, right? Like, it's really straight to the point, but it demonstrates it well, right? So you take yourself out of that comfort zone, and even little comfortable steps, but it's important, right? As I say, change is essential. All of this ties back to doing things differently, seeing things differently, approaching things differently, thinking differently, considering things differently, right? Now, that the obstacle really comes down to, the obstacle in doing this is your own mindset. Are you ready to change? Most of us aren't, right? It's one of the most challenging things that you will do, even when you've gone through the process and you've improved and you've grown and you've become a better version of yourself. It's easy to fall back into that comfort and those habits of, okay, I'm in a better place now and I'll just sit here. But the true expansion of your mind and your abilities and what you experience and go through in life comes from continually exposing yourself to opportunity to change. And it may not be the right path for you, but you're not going to find the path if you're not looking, right? So you have to keep that momentum, the energy, the openness, different experiences, going through and creating an openly inviting opportunity for different moments in your life that you can draw from, that are going to potentially expose you to the new ideas or the new concepts or the people that will help you to find that absolute truth, right? Now, without change, we can't grow, right? And to hark back to the seed example I gave before, and maybe even a good example is a caterpillar to a butterfly, right? We have to go through change. There's levels and layers of intricacy and experiences in life. Like you think, right? Most of us, even unknowingly or almost by default, go through periods of change in our life, from childhood through puberty into our adolescence and ultimately into adulthood. So we're all more than capable, and sometimes we almost cloud our minds and tell ourselves or make ourselves believe that it's not possible, because it is scary. Like, you think if you don't have, none of us here, hopefully, have the same sort of mindset and approach or way of doing things that we do or did when we were 7, right? Like it's just part of growing and changing, and we are naturally good and capable of doing so, but occasionally we put these little roadblocks in place, and that comes back to our mindset and that ability to, I think, probably let go of ideas or concepts that don't serve us well anymore. That was one that really helped me is when I changed direction and course corrected into where I wanted to be in life, and learnt new skills, and try different roles and different jobs and all different approaches to what I wanted to do with my life. It was because I let go of the things or the beliefs that were holding me still. Right, I have to keep moving. Right, and that's what growth is. Growth is movement. Right, growth is change. It's a shift. And if we're not growing, we're not changing. We're stagnating. And if we're stagnating and standing still, we're dying. Right, there's the laws of nature. We have to keep moving and evolving and shifting. And be it at this point in time, is 2022, if it almost feels like a collective shift and growth and evolution in human mindset right now. Right, the beauty of the connectivity of us all being intertwined in a more visible sense, or a more obvious sense through the internet, allows that collective consciousness to evolve and level up, right? Because we're seeing for the first time ever that connection where we can understand and learn from each other, and find that truth that's a commonality throughout all different cultures and people and places, that serves us to grow in the best way. And this is what all of these tools and techniques and principles that I share have come from analyzing and watching and observing and learning from great minds and great people that have achieved the things that I'm seeking to do in my life, and identifying the common traits and patterns that those people used and continue to use to change their life and evolve themselves. Right? And I see this, and I'm convinced there are set patterns and principles that are the most effective frameworks for humans to use to not only grow individually, but grow and enlighten ourselves as a species, as a group, as a whole. So this is more than available to us now. We don't have to search as hard to find the tools that help us change and grow, right? Now, you're here watching this. You're already on your quest. You're searching. You're looking for the tools. You're growing and changing. You're seeking to become the best version of yourself that you can. So you're already, in the mix. It's already happening, right? Sometimes it seems difficult. You might feel like you're stagnating, but the fact that you're taking motion and movement, momentum, and you're taking actions, that is growth. That is change. Sometimes the outcomes and results take a little while to show up after the actions have taken place. So don't get disheartened, because if you're moving and you're taking action to change, it'll come. It's flowing. It'll follow your actions, right? Now, the approach that I think helps in how to do this, because you don't want to just approach it just with no concept of what you're trying to achieve. And I've done that in the past in my life, where I've taken positive actions or positive steps, but not outlined or determined what I was trying to achieve or where I was trying to go first. And even if you're taking good actions and you can see good outcomes and change and growth in your life, you can go round and round in circles because you haven't determined the destination or at least the next milestone, right? So start by considering the alternative in various aspects of your life. if not all aspects of your life, right? What are the key things that are going to give you the most bang for buck, right? The Pareto efficiency, the 80-20 rule. What 20% of your life can you change and transform that will give you 80% of the results that you're seeking, right? What you can look for the quick wins. Sometimes we call it the low-hanging fruit. What can we do now? What are the areas of our lives that, or the little sections or smaller things that we can adapt and shift and change, or some of the smaller ideas that are easier to change quickly or more effectively? When we do those, and it starts the snowball effect, almost that momentum breeds momentum, right? So look for the things that will be small and manageable steps that you can take action on now. Something as simple as, a good one, actually. This is one as an example. When I was younger, I always believed I had a bad memory and couldn't remember people's names for the life of me, right? Like someone would meet me, I'd shake their hand, they'd tell me their name, and gone. Like instantly gone. And then I read, it's the Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. And one of the sweetest sounds a person can ever hear is the sound of their own name, right? So I took that on board and combined that with a lesson from Jim Quick, where he says, if you fight for your limitations, you get to keep them, right? Like powerful stuff, right? So I took that on board and started to tell myself, not only is it important that I pay this person the respect and give them that experience and care, that show them that I care enough to remember their name, and two, combining that with shifting the belief that my memory is bad and started telling myself, I have a great memory, I can remember people's names, and actively doing little things like as soon as they mentioned their name to me, I would repeat it. And I'd take action and intent to remember their name. And now I can remember people's names that I met 3 years ago and see them in the street and address them correctly. And you can see the impact that makes on someone, because I took enough initiative and shifted something manageable and small in my life that helped me to grow and be better. And the outcomes affected other people in a positive way, right? Little shifts. There's so many little minor tweaks that are easy and manageable that all of us can do that can make a wonderful impact. That's a very small example that I've given, right? And that has an immense benefit in my life, and people seeing that I genuinely care and I'm interested in those people, and they feel good about that, right? There's this positive flow-on effect, all from simple little changes to my belief and my consideration and approach with others, right? And that helps me to become a better version of myself. Now, this and most of the lessons and things I share, they're not always easy, right? Going against the grain and challenging your identity and beliefs and who you are and your thought patterns and your approach to things is quite possibly one of the toughest things you'll ever do. It's interesting, but a necessary way to move forward, because the way that we create change is to challenge ourselves, right? We have to challenge our ideas, challenge our beliefs, challenge our thought patterns, challenge our approach and how we see things, because the only way to see things in a different light is to consider them in a different light. Right? We have to begin with the notion of, what does the alternative mean? If I see it in a different way, is there value in that? Right? We must shift it and challenge ourselves to be better. Now, when you do this, each little baby step is a milestone, and big things don't occur and change without all the little things underneath, the foundations that are built upon to get big results. We have little results that compound over time and create those big results for us. And every little shift is one step closer to truth and one step closer to progressing to who we want to be. Right? Every move forward is progress. Even the smallest step, right? We have to start with the single step. No one starts and is finished, within 10 minutes. It takes time. We have to build upon our experiences, our ideas, and growing and shaping our identity is a challenge. It's a hard thing to do, right? But when you go through this, ultimately, you've changed into a new version of yourself. Now, I look at all of the things that I, don't, not regret, but don't necessarily, I look back on and I'm like, oh, I cringe a little at some of the things I did, but I needed to go through those things to learn and grow and challenge myself and attempt different approaches and different ideas to become who I am now, sitting here sharing a conversation with you guys today. So don't be hard on yourself. Just keep moving, right? Take action, take those small manageable steps, challenge your thoughts and ideas, consider things differently, and see where it could lead you. All right? Who could you become? Thank you so much, guys. This is Wade Vincent, and I've very much enjoyed spending some time with you today. If you are watching this on YouTube, hit the like button. Please hit subscribe and share this out with your friends and family and a network of people. And until next Friday, I will see you then, and stay safe and challenge who you think you are. All right, guys. Talk to you then.